This is the inflow process. I'll be going through the inflow tutorial, and then all questions you can post in the chat, and then I'll answer them afterwards. And then if it is an easy question, one of my people will type in the chat the answer to the quick question. So let's go to inflow. So the address is inflow.lcsmc.org. So if you just type that in, it'll bring you to this website. And then if you don't have an account yet, you can click sign up. And then you can click whether you're an SMC staff, consultant contractor, local government, or other. I am just going to create a fake account and sign up. So it'll take you to the home page, which you'll see all the projects that we have ongoing. And then any user generated projects that you submit, you'll be able to see on this map as well. And then I will get an email saying that, hey, there's a new user. And I'm going to admit that new user right now. So I just admitted myself, and I should be able to log out and log back in, and then be able to see this work request page. And since I have not submitted anything, I can't see any work submitted. So now I can add a project for the W&B cycle. Add a description. And if you are an HOA or a village, you can add your link to the website if you have one. Zoom into where you have your project area. Click here to draw a polygon. And you want to double click to close it. And then it should take a couple seconds to load. And then it'll come up with the watershed and the jurisdictions that it's in. Just type in some the total amount of your project and the cost being requested. And then you can upload as many images as you want. I'm going to upload a couple tests. And then here you can upload the RFP. As well as any other document you think you want to add. And then here you can save or submit the project. So I'm going to save the project. Your project has been saved, and then it'll be in draft status. So you'll be able to see your project that you submitted. So if you want to edit, you can edit the project. Since we're waiting, right here you can download the W&B RFP if you haven't already. And you can edit and submit it. This is what you need to upload to the PDF. And then
Michelle, this is Rick here. I logged into this a couple, maybe 3 times, 4 times this weekend, and that little square with the water in it or whatever, I struggled with that for at least an hour. And I just, every time I would get to the point where that little square started going around in circles, I couldn't advance in the computer.
When you were logging in?
Right, I created an account just like you did, and then I tried to navigate the site, and every time I tried to download the map, I would get that little hourglass figure with the water swishing around, and it wouldn't go anywhere. I thought maybe you had a computer glitch over the weekend.
What browser are you using?
Oh, I'm using DuckDuckGo.
Okay, that may be the issue. If you use like Chrome or Safari, that might help.
I'll try that.
Okay, so we are able to see my project. I can now edit the project and submit the project. And I will get a email notification that there has been a project submitted. And then I can go in on my side and essentially send this back. I'm going to do that right now. So I need more information. The budget wasn't submitted, so please add budget, and I can send it back to the user. And then on this side, it will be changed to draft, and you will get an email saying, hey, you need to submit your budget. And then once you go in and edit the project again, you could add another document. And submit it again. Any other inflow questions? Any questions about the process? Did I talk too quick? Do you need me to go over anything else?
Michelle?
Yes.
I see up near Winthrop Harbor, there's two purple dots there, and it says that those are FEMA projects. What does that mean? Is federal government doing those projects, or?
So they are FEMA dollars. So instead of DCO capital improvement projects, they are the monies that are be using for those projects. They are FEMA. That it's FEMA money.
And how do we get access to that FEMA money? Is that a municipal initiative or is that a county initiative?
Hey Kurt, can you talk on that?
These two projects are for FEMA FY22 congressional directed spending projects that were previously appropriated. So this tool also, we're using it to collect and compile and graphically display all of our projects as it shows in that legend. So you got the DCO, different rounds, and FEMA. So we are not holding an RFP for FEMA projects. This is just showing all the projects that we're working on. And those FEMA projects up in Zion, those were appropriated in federal fiscal year 2022. And yeah, there's two up in Zion that we're working on. We have a few other FEMA projects. So accessing those, there's nothing to access. Those projects are already appropriated by Congress, and we need to work on them. So yeah, there's probably too much information being shown on Michelle's screen, but would the normal users, Michelle, would they see all those projects?
Correct.
Yeah. So I guess it's everything that we're working on, but for this RFP, this is new projects, and the Watershed Management Board deadline is next Friday, I believe.
The 13th.
Yeah.
So in 2 Fridays.
Yeah. So Rick, does that answer the question about those FEMA projects?
Well, it helps. I was just wondering if those dollars had been appropriated by the municipality of Zion or by Lake County SMC or the county direct or
By the
the
county.
state of Illinois.
By the county they have, yes. So there's an agreement with FEMA for those projects with SMC, and SMC has already appropriated the grant into our budget. So it's through the county. There's no extra work that the municipalities need to do, or the county. We just need to get these projects done.
Right. Well, that helps. Appreciate the explanation there, Kurt. Thank you.
Yep, sure.
Okay, I have a question from Garnett Miller. He says, I'm new to this opportunity. Can you give a little general information about it? So the WMB, they're watershed-based projects. If you download the RFP from the website, once it loads, you'll be able to read some about this. There's policies and procedures that we go through. Jacob, Ashley, and Shireen are the watershed managers, and I'm the lead watershed manager for the whole project process. Thank you, Ashley. And here's the WB project schedule. As Kurt mentioned, the deadline for the WMB is September 13th at 2 o'clock. So we'll after 2 o'clock, you can no longer submit projects. But if we do have questions and you submitted a project and we kick it back to you, you will still have that opportunity to edit at that point. But that's just for minor changes and tweaks, not a full change to a project. Here's some more of our compliance criteria. And if you scroll all the way down, you can see our prioritization criteria. Interjurisdictional benefits is a big one. If your project benefits multiple jurisdictions and is and puts in multiple jurisdictions within that project. And here's our scoring chart. And we also do WMAGs, which is a full, the WMB is 50% of the project, and WMAG is 100% up to $12,000. So, any other questions on that? Did I answer your question, Garnett? Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, you said the WMAG is 100% to 12,000. What is the maximum under the other program?
Our per watershed, it's up here somewhere. It's per watershed. So like here's the max that you can request for each.
Okay. I see.
Oh yeah. So you can request, like if it's in Des Plaines, you can request 72. You probably won't get 72, but just depending on the amount of projects that are going to be put in the Des Plaines River for this fiscal year.
And that's shared on a 50-50 basis with whoever's initiating the project?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You have to do at least 50. You get more points if your entity supports more than 50%. You get like 5 base points or something like that. Yeah. So like you have a project that's 150,000, you can do 75.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
I wanted to just clarify, these amounts are what's allocated. There is a little asterisk there that the amounts can vary because our county board approves our budget later this fall. So these are what numbers we typically have, and I anticipate these would stay the same. And these are the so for Des Plaines River, for example, 72,912. The WMB projects are a 50-50 cost match with the applicant. And these are the amounts that SMC would contribute for that 50%. So, yeah, like you said, if it's $150,000 project, 50% of that is 75, but the allocation is capped at 72,000. So a 50-50 project around $145,000. We've approved small projects for a few $1,000s. We've approved larger projects for probably up to $50,000. And this is a competitive program. So depending on how many applications we receive, these are the allocations that we prioritize and bring recommendations to the Watershed Management Board. Some years we might not get many applications in a given watershed, and it's not as competitive, so projects might get selected that previously wouldn't have. So we never know from year to year, but sometimes there's funds that go to different watersheds because no one applied in a given watershed. So my recommendation is always apply and ask for more. You might not get it, but you never know who is not applying, and we may need to shift funds into another watershed. But it is a 50-50 cost match, so be mindful of that, and it's reimbursement based. So the applicant would enter into an agreement with SMC and incur costs and submit for reimbursement of those costs. The other grant program that Michelle described, the Watershed Management Assistance Grant, that is a little different. It's not truly a project, and there is no match requirement for that. And funds can be released prior to the completion to help that particular program. But yeah, this packet that you can download from the INFLOW website, that's what we're showing. It has all the information in there. And Michelle, if you could maybe show the scoring criteria from the
So I'm
RFP.
just gonna, right here, before you log in, you can download the RFP, which is right here. So the scoring criteria for the WMB is right here.
Yeah. So this is what staff we use to rank projects. So if a project will improve drainage and it improves drainage for more than one jurisdiction, whether it's a local highway and a municipality or another municipality, then the weight of that is 25. So you get a heavier point score. But if you go to the bottom of that ranking, nuisance flooding, it only carries a weight of 5. So if there's a lot of nuisance flooding going on, those will add up. But if there's just 1 or 2 properties and they have nuisance flooding, it's going to get a low score. And if we don't receive applications, then a low scoring project may actually be funded. So we never know until after this deadline next Friday. So I always encourage people to apply, even if it's not going to be saving communities from flooding, but it's good water quality, it addresses nuisance flooding. We want to spend these funds on good projects, and we want to have good partners. So this is a good sheet to look at when putting together an application and describing the benefits. It helps our staff with scoring if they can read your proposal, and these are the points that we look at. And we bring our recommendations to the Watershed Management Board. And I think this year we're doing a little earlier. It's in November, I believe. Right, Michelle?
Yeah, and 2 points before we move on, you have to have a 210 in order to be considered to be recommended. So you can be low scoring, but you need at least a 210 to be recommended for funding. And then again, the submittal deadline is September 13th, not next Friday.
Oh, yeah, that was a week off.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, Rick, I think your hand was up first.
Well, I think Ashley might have had her hand up first. Ashley?
This is just to kind of piggyback off of what Kurt and Michelle have been saying, that it is highly encouraged. And Michelle, would you mind going up to who the project managers are on your screen? You should be reaching out to those project managers if you're considering submitting an application. Ask questions. ask how you can get more points. A part of our job is to help the applicants with their project idea. So they come to us with an idea. We don't create the idea of a project for the applicant. They come to us with an idea, and we help you structure your application to get you more points. That's part of our job, is to help the applicants make their applications as strong as we possibly can. And that applies to everybody. So please note, the screen that Michelle has up, who those project managers are, which watershed you're considering putting a project in, and reaching out to them to help strengthen your application. And that, again, applies to everybody. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yes, thank you, Ashley. And if you have any troubles with inflow, you can email me. I put that in my email in the chat, and I'll be able to help you. So, okay, Rick?
Yes, well, and this might be, maybe Ashley can answer this, but does the contractor that proposes the work, is there any special licensing or approvals from the county that's required of that contractor, or can I go to anyone that does work in the waterway?
We don't dictate who your contractor is. No, they don't have to follow like they're not SMCs, I'm sorry, Lake County's like bidding guidance. No, we don't dictate that. That's up to the applicant.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off of that comment, because this program, these dollars, it's not like our other capital program with DCO and FEMA, which is millions of dollars. These are smaller projects, and we want to encourage homeowners, property owners, and local governments to do these small projects, which cumulatively do provide a benefit to the watershed. So we don't want to make this program very restrictive and hard to apply. It's not our permitting program either. So if a project needs to get a permit, and if SMC is the regulatory agency, that's a separate process. You'd need to get a permit. Or if a permit is needed from the City of Zion, well, the City of Zion needs to issue that permit. This is just a cost match grant opportunity, and it's reimbursement based. So we receive proposals. We prioritize the recommended projects based on those scoring criteria, and that's about it. As far as how far we dig into these projects, we don't oversee the contractors. We don't review like bid opening documents. We don't ask for your permits for everything. Like I said, sometimes we're handing out a few $1,000s. So we don't want to make this an administrative burdensome process, but there are other permits and approvals and contractual relationships outside of this that, yeah, the applicant or the recipient of these grant funds, they would need to adhere to, but we don't put terms and conditions on these funding. It's a simple agreement. We put a scope of work together. You're going to build a rain garden. You're going to restore a channel. You're going to remove and install native plants. Where is it? How large of an area? What's the schedule? These are typical year-long projects. We don't want projects going on for multiple years, because this is an annual cycle. And if you can't get the project done this year, or if you can't get an application in this year, there's always next year. We do this every year, and it's a very successful program, and we can only do it with our partners, which are the applicants who apply. So yeah, hopefully this RFP packet explains and provides a lot of answers, but feel free to contact the project manager listed on the screen as well. They do want to help you put together a complete application and also identify areas that can be strengthened, so you can have a higher scoring and higher chance of being selected for funding.
Yeah, we highly recommend pre-proposal meetings. Unfortunately, because of the time constraints of SMC, we no longer can do pre-proposal meetings, but you have 2 weeks to submit and ask questions as well. So we're here to help. Any other questions? Well, thank you everyone for joining. Hope you have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.